Hey everybody, I hope you guys are doing well, and today's video is gonna cover the wands again. This time the 7 of Wands and the 8 of Wands. Okay, and the 7 of Wands has a lot to do with combat, because as you see, there's a man and he looks like he's fighting off six other wands. So you can assume that there's 6 individuals there, um, and the reason this card has a lot to do with um, not competition, I would say, but more about conviction, is because he's shown as holding his ground. Okay, one, he's very set. He's at the vantage point. He's on top of the hill, and he even looks a little mad if you really look at the expression on his face. He looks like he's not gonna hold back. And the good thing about seeing this card is he's at the vantage point, meaning on top, where the other fighters, they can't get him. Okay, and the next thing that I want to cover is this card has some reinforcing attributes, I guess, to the 5 of Wands, but unlike the 5 of Wands, this card, the 7 of Wands, has more of an indicator of you, or the client, whoever is asking the question, of them winning. Okay, so it's like a me against them mentality, but you're at the winner's level. Okay, so I want to make that clear, because with the 5 of Wands, it's not really clear who's going to come out with the gold, the medal. It's a competition, and that's it. It's a conflict, which, and as I said before in my other lesson, in my other video, I said the 5s are conflicts. There's some numerology in tarot, and you have the 7 for the 7 of Wands, and 7s indicate feelings. So that would make sense to show a picture like this for the wand suit, because it's feelings and ideas. And when you feel something, like when you feel a connection, feelings are very powerful, as you know. And when you finally decide on something, it's usually, I would hope, that's how people usually are. Their feelings are the reasons behind the decisions they make. So this is why it's showing a man, very he's very persistent. He's not holding back. He's staying true to his conviction. It's like he's saying no. And mainly, that's where the idea of making the 7 of Wands is, look like this. That there's a reason why it looks this way, and 7s indicates feelings. So when our feelings come into play, we tend to act on our emotions, and emotions can make people do very weird things. We tend to do things we normally wouldn't do if our emotions aren't clouding our judgment or whatever. And this is why he looks so passionate, because he's got his emotions to drive him. So it's feelings upon ideas, and you can kind of see why it would show this here. He's obviously he's got his heart and his idea both invested, in what he's thinking. So this is why we tend to fight over what we believe in. So this is This is basically the meaning of the Seven of Wands. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about what what to say when you see the Seven of Wands, like in a reading, like how to interpret it in context to love. Okay, I talked about sevens meaning feelings and ideas. Okay, so normally when I see this card, I would simply say, either depending on what is surrounding the card, right? You could be in a really happy relationship. You could find you could find your soulmate. Who knows? And if this card comes up, then there's some difficulties. Okay, but it's a little hard to tell what's going on just by looking at this card. So you have to look at the surrounding cards. For instance, if you see if you see clues, that the relationship is harmonious and the two are getting along, there's probably something else, some other obstacle in the way. Maybe people are against your relationship. Maybe there's people that are opposing the relationship, or maybe if it's not a harmonious relationship, let's say you're in a relationship but you're not really compatible, this card is pointing to like a fight. You're not seeing eye to eye, and one partner or both are holding on to their beliefs with conviction. Okay, and in work, this card is I would say is the best to see, at least for a work reading. More than love, more than finances, I would, this is probably the least threatening way to see this card, because all it really means is that you're trying your hardest, and there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously if you try really hard, you're gonna see results, and it's good to see you're putting in effort in your job. Okay, and so that's a little indication that Seven of Wands isn't always a bad card, isn't actually a bad card to see, at least in work. It means you have a healthy approach to work. You're putting in a lot of work, effort. There's a lot of energy behind this card. You're fighting, fighting for that promotion, fighting for success. It's a good good healthy card. And finances, it's just basically saying it's struggle time. It's like a struggle. You're struggling to make ends meet. You've been trying really hard to make things work to your benefit. So I would say this isn't really a good way to see this card if you're asking about finances. And yeah, okay, so that's basically what I would say about the Seven of Wands. Okay, and now moving on to the Eight of Wands. Okay, you see this is about conclusion, of course, right? Eights stand for thoughts. The thoughts with your ideas, thoughts upon ideas, excuse me. So as you really think about these ideas, you tend to put them into action, right? So this is about action. Once we put in our thoughts, we tend to I mean, it goes in an order. You find out, you feel, you like something, right, with the Seven of Wands, and then the Eights is the thought. So once you put some thought into something, you tend to, that's the moment when you put it into action, right? Because you have to have a well thought out plan. So this is basically calling the shots, and when you strike while the iron's hot. So it's a card about conclusion. And in areas of love, I would say this is a good card to see. But it can also have its bad side too, like anything else. The good thing about seeing this card is if you want to know if you're going to hear from that person You know, you get those questions a lot. You know, will I hear from so and so? Will I get to talk to so and so? This card stands for a conversation. You know, it just means simply that you will get a maybe a phone call or a message. It's about news. Um, you'll something is going to happen. You know, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, so you're going to get the piece, you know, of the puzzle that you need to find out something. You know, you're okay. Like for instance, if you saw like the Hanged Man and then you see the Eight of Wands, I would interpret that as, you know, the Hanged Man period is saying that you've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and then when you see the Eight of Wands, that means okay, you're in the clear. You got your answer. You know, you're not left hanging anymore. The shoe's dropped. You know, you're not hanging. It's actually dropped. So that you know, that's what that means. And another way, depending on what cards you have, you know, surrounding the Eight of Wands. Like, for instance, if you see the Death card around it, well, since this card stands for conclusions, I would say seeing the Death card would mean a goodbye. You know, maybe a breakup is coming. You know, you have your one closure meeting and that's it. You say your goodbyes and it's over. You know, so this is a really, I would say, a neutral card. All it really means is the action of conversation and making something clear. So that's basically it. In work related readings, the Eight of Wands has to do with like a phone call, kind of like you get that job that you want, or you know, something pertaining to an ending. You're waiting for a call to find out if you got the promotion. You know, you're gonna get it. You know, so basically, yeah. I mean, this card has a lot to do with communication and action, swift action. By the way, nothing that's long and drawn out. It's actually very quick. You know, very smooth. And that's the thing I do like about this card, because it's about, you know, getting on with it, getting on with something. Okay, so I would say that in work related readings, it means getting what you want, moving, progressing forward very fast. That's good. Now in finances, it's, again, this is smooth. The meaning of this card stands for things going smoothly. So I would say in finances, you know, things are going good. You know, your checks are, you know, balancing. You're able to balance your checkbook. You know, everything is going good. You know, there's really no problems. You're actually making money, and probably fast. You know, so I would like to see this card if it came up in a financial reading, only because I always feel it has a lot to do with things progressing fast. You know, it doesn't indicate how much money you make, you know, of course, but it does mean, you know, like a fast buck. So that's good. That's actually how I tend to see the Eight of Wands. It means when things go fast, you know. So you could kind of see that this would mean like the fast buck that you can make, you know, something quick, maybe not long lasting. Like, you might have an odd job, you know, get an odd job, and it doesn't last long, but it's you know, it's suitable to what you need. It will do. Okay, and that's about it. I mean, this is my video of the Seven of Wands and the Eight of Wands, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you guys are confused, and also feel free to visit my website at stellartarot.com. Okay, take care.